My brother, who's a banker in Tulsa, John Pixley, suggested that we buy the truck. And so we did, contacted the Smith family, and they sold it to us for what they'd paid for it, $100. So we began the process of restoration. The first person who did work on it was Brandon McLaughlin. Brandon was or is a firefighter up in Oolagaw, and on his days off, he worked on this vehicle to get it to a certain point. He had it for, I believe, about 3 years. Then he got it to us, I believe, in 2015. We took it to a mechanic in Veneta who was old enough to understand old vehicles. You can't hook a computer up to this one. And so that gentleman's name was Steve Smith. He had the truck for about 15 months. And now we're up to, I believe, October of 2016. He told me that we needed to find someone who could do some heavier work. A fellow by the name of Gary Wise took on the project. And I believe it was delivered back to us on May 25th, just a few days ago. And so that's sort of the story of the ownership of the vehicle through various people. I think we are both the second and the sixth owner of the truck. My first memory of this truck was I was about 13 years old. Either 13 or 14. I know when we moved to Claremore in March of 1964, I hadn't yet had my 14th birthday. And this was one of two vehicles that my father had. He had a pickup and this truck. This truck used to belong to my uncle, who had a lumber yard in Chelsea, Chelsea Lumber. His name also was Paul Pixley. Paul R. and I'm Paul W. And he didn't need the truck anymore. So in 1963, in October 63, when Warren Pixley started Pixley Lumber Company, this was an extra truck. My uncle didn't need it anymore, and so he sold it to my father. That's how it became my father's first truck in 1963, although it's a 1957 model. My uncle bought it new. So I sort of learned to drive in this truck. I wouldn't take it out on the road until I was 18 and had a chauffeur's license at that time. Okay, the way that we have lettered the door is the way that it was initially. We used to be located at 220 North Missouri, where Heather's dance studio is, and a body shop next door. We occupied that area and did so from 1963 to 1971. And the phone number, 4223, is still the last, are still the last four digits of our number. But the Rogers 3 was the prefix at that time. And of course, now our number is 341-4223. You'll also notice the name Fred that's written here in Ford script. And Fred was a truck driver for us in the late 60s. Sort of my mentor growing up as a teenager. Fred's last name is Gordonier. He's still living, lives up in Bartlesville. Fred will be back in the truck. He hasn't seen it finished yet. He's seen photos of it, but has not been in it. And he's been following it faithfully through the restoration process, which has been ongoing for several years now.